Sentinel, Mount Nittany stands over Happy Valley and Penn State University. The Nittany Lions football season ended last year on a note of misery with 2 straight losses, setting forth renewed resolve for '98. Opening the season against Southern Mississippi, a running, gunning, scrambling bunch that won 9 of 12 games themselves, and with a core of veterans back. The first meeting between the Golden Eagles of Southern Mississippi and the Nittany Lions of Penn State. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Happy Valley. On the road, this Southern Mississippi team has, in the last decade, beaten Florida State, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, and Georgia. So you do not take them lightly, and here's Bob Greasy to tell you why.
Well, it's the same old recipe, Keith. Good coaching and good players. And as you know, Brett Favre was at Southern Mississippi. Not many people out of the South know a lot about Southern Miss. They've won the conference championship in their Conference USA 2 years in a row. Jeff Bauer, their head coach, says, I like our players. I like our players a lot. In fact, we fully expect to win this ball game here today.
Now we will turn to our New York studio, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge.
More on that. Your opening kick is up next.
People ask me what's the market going to do 2 years from now, 5 years from now. I say, I really don't know. I really don't know. But I think companies' profits will be higher in the future. Companies are working very hard out there to invent new products, to improve the quality of their service. I believe they'll be making more money 10 years from now and 20 years from now. When people really get worried, they ought to go to the playground and look at 6-year-olds. They don't know what's happening to money supply. They don't know what's happening to interest rates. So you really shouldn't worry about what happens this week or tomorrow or the day after. And the world will be fine.
Visit our website or call your advisor.
Whenever car batteries are put to the test, America's most trusted lives up to its name. Die Hard. What's under your hood?
Everybody has imagined the home of their dreams. But at State Farm, we dream about a house that looks great from the inside.
I've decided there is none. You see, you can't have a controversy when the quarterbacks have no history and no experience. You take number 16, Kevin Thompson, for Penn State. He comes in, he's been in the system for 4 years, but he hasn't had a start. He hasn't really thrown a touchdown pass. He stands 6'5". He can see over that big line. Now look at number 12, the other young man involved in this twosome, Rashard Casey. Now, he's not as big. Again, he doesn't have a start. He's a little faster of foot, but Joe Paterno says he's worked very hard on straight drop back control. And Keith, I think Joe will look at the two, give them a fair chance, and whichever one shows the leadership, that's the guy that gets a job for the long term.
All right, Swannies, Penn State will kick it off to Southern Mississippi to begin this first meeting ever between these two teams. And Travis Forney has kicked it through the end zone. The chilly starting lineup now for the Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles on offense. Up front, number 65, Lester Pope, 346 pounds. Number 70, Shedrick Blackman. They block out the sun on the right side of center. Number 11, Sherrod Gideon, leads the wide receivers, needs 35 yards to become the all-time leading receiver. Todd Pinkston has great speed for them. In the running back core, they're short of experience here. Number 35, Brandon Francis, 5'7", 190, coming back over from wide receiver. He's had a very good fall. The quarterback is a very good, solid, steady citizen, Lee Roberts, who passed for 2,200 yards last season. They throw on first down. The man Gideon is wide open, and they've got a first down on the first play of the ball game at the 34-yard line. The Penn State defense up front. These guys have had a long off season. They remember vividly what happened in the last 2 games of last year. They got a run over. In the linebacking core, it's another good group with number 43, Brandon Short, leading them. He's an outstanding player. The defensive backs are not very big, but as usual, they'll knock your head off. Macklin and Lee particularly. First down and 10 for Southern Miss from just short of the 35-yard line. Roberts on an option, rolls it out. The pass is incomplete. The hit was put on Nolan by number 27, David Macklin, and the ball came out. That's what they'll do in that Penn State secondary. They'll lay a lick on you and separate you from the ball.
Lee Roberts is a very experienced, Keith. He is starting for his 3rd season, his 19th start. He's 13-5. He's very composed, very experienced. He's smart and great leadership. Joe Paterno was just going raving about this young kid. He says he likes this type of kid that knows how to beat defenses.
Oh, it's second down and 10 after the incomplete forward pass. The referee is Jim Kimmerling, the Big Ten crew. And Roberts hands it up inside. Brandon Francis, a 5'7", 187-pounder from Lafayette, Louisiana, is brought down by Brandon Short, number 43. It'll be third down and 7. Very bright and shiny day in Happy Valley, Pennsylvania. Better known, I suppose, to the map makers as State College.
There you go.
On the 37-yard line. Double wide, top of the picture, out of the shotgun. Roberts over the middle, it goes. They've got their first down. Maybe. His pursuit got there, and he went to the sidelines instead of turning it up, and Mac Morrison came over and nailed him.
He's throwing that hoss, that may be in there on the hoss.
Yeah. I don't think now that I don't think he's got it.
4 wide receivers in the ball game. Penn State dropping back, straight back in a little zone, hitting the man and go across the field. Now I want him to get upfield to pick up the first down. I think Penn State does a nice job of, I think it's going to be 4th and, well,
inches.
Short, yeah, real short.
Todd Pinkston, he only weighs 163 pounds, so he doesn't have a lot of bulk to throw at that defender. And Morrison at 240-odd pounds, he came over and really socked him. Little bitty things make up the sum by the end of the day.
Oh, my goodness, they made it.
By the hair, your chinny chin chin.
I was looking at the far side field where they just had a marker, and that is not always accurate. This was, yeah. All right.
Can't see the one down here because the player standing blocked the view.
Jeff Bauer's done an outstanding job here, Keith. This is his 8th season, and he's had trouble getting home games. This is only, in his 8 years, this is only his 2nd year that he's had as many as 5 home games.
Frank Firestone comes over the ball at center, a straight 4-point student. Lee Roberts will handle the ball. Dwayne Woods is in the backfield. Put it in the air. Air under it. Pass is caught. Beautiful catch by Sherrod Gideon. A beautiful pass by Lee Roberts. And here's Southern Mississippi at camping on the Penn State 38-yard line.
Well, you've got the best receiver going against Penn State's best defensive back. And the thing that Gideon does is he lines up inside, way to the inside of the field to allow some area where Roberts can throw the ball to the outside. That's just good coaching and good execution.
So it's a first down for the Golden Eagles on the Nittany Lions 38. First possession of the ball game. First meeting ever between the teams. Francis bounces to the outside, and he is dragged down after a pickup of a yard. And our New York studio with John Saunders.
Keith, time for the Burger King update.
So we come back to Penn State now as Roberts on second down and 8. Swings it outside to Brendan Francis. And Francis, who was a wide receiver last year, will reach the 30. And he's going to be at least 2 yards short of the first down. Mac Morrison again playing that side, the boundary side, and he got there in a hurry.
Looks downfield. This is the outlet. This is the fastest back that they've got. In Francis, played a wide receiver last year.
Stumpy guy, 5'7" and 187 pounds. Mac Morrison is out of the Great Northwest, incidentally, from Port Orchard, Washington. So he came a long way to go to school. Roberts back. Passes away, and he missed his man. He had Gideon wide open. Had him wide open. And he missed him. It'll be fourth down.
Here's Gideon right here in the slot. They're going to have some blitzes coming on, so it's going to be man coverage, and he just misses him to the outside. You don't want it any better than this. Single coverage with some space. Just rushed it a tad.
So here's Jamie Purser into the ball game, and this is a big one, a 47. It's Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway with a 47-yard field goal try. Snap was high, but the placement's good, and the kick's on the way, and he missed it. And so Southern Mississippi is turned away because Lee Roberts missed a wide-open Sherrod Gideon, and it could have been a big play, but zip from the effort. Penn State Nittany Lions take over the football for their first possession of the 1998 season at their own 30-yard line, and it'll be 6'5" Kevin Thompson at quarterback for them. Kevin Thompson is out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. Big guy, weighs about 220 pounds. The offensive front looks pretty solid. It's certainly the biggest one Penn State's ever had, with 4 300-pounders up there. And they hand it off to Cordell Mitchell, who in actual fact, when you go back to the springtime, you might have said Cordell would have been 4th or 5th. The Chili's starting lineup now for Penn State. We mentioned the big guys up front. Only guard Ryan Fagan. He's 4 pounds short of that mark. The wide receivers, the senior Joe Nastasi is the possession fellow. Very tough, very good player. In the running back core, that's where they're weak. Cordell Mitchell is the only experience at tailback. All the others who you'll see there today will be freshmen, and the starting fullback is a sophomore who's played very little. So here goes Cordell Mitchell, who has blazing speed. And there's a sample of it right there. Finally run down by Larry Watts for Southern Miss. And so the Lions get a big play on the ground. The Southern Miss defense, the front, it's a reckless, aggressive group that's unpredictable. Sometimes they get burned because they are so aggressive. Number 97, Adelius Thomas, very highly regarded. Linebackers will come and come and come. T.J. Slaughter plays in the middle, and he's finally healthy and a good one. The defensive secondary, a bit suspect. At least they're short on experience, but Rover Leo Barnes played as a true freshman last year and had a very good fall practice. First down for Penn State at the Southern Mississippi 40. 27-yard run by Cordell Mitchell. Kevin Thompson pulls it down, and getting pressure is dragged down by DeQuincy Scott. Scott got pressure up the middle. Big sophomore out of LaPlace, Louisiana. And Thompson was quick to pull it down and move away from him.
Yeah, Thompson was fighting for yardage and takes a pretty good shot, Keith. Here's the pressure down low. Steps up in the pocket. Now he gets hung on. Now, if the party's over, you can't get any further. Get down. Slaughter gets a free shot here.
And he took it.
Yeah, watch him right here. Boom. Oh, boy. We'll feel that one a little bit later on today.
Pick up is 4 yards, second down, and 6 for the Lions. And the ball off to Mitchell, running in traffic. Cordell will fight his way down to the 30 and very close to another first down. Cordell Mitchell, 6-footer, 199 pounds, a junior out of Syracuse.
And he's starting, Keith, because some of the other running backs that should have been here were. Curtis Enos left early for the NFL. Aaron Harris is injured, as is Eberle and Watson. And Cleary, who was supposed to be the starting fullback, transferred to Shippensburg. He was the fullback and a heck of a blocker. So they're without 5 running backs in that backfield. It really tests their depth.
And it's third down and a short yard. Ball goes to the fullback, Ceramelli, and Mike Ceramelli bangs his way across the 20-yard line for a first down. Mike, 5'10", 233-pound sophomore, running for better than 10 yards on the carry. He sort of grew up coming to Beaver Stadium to watch the Lions play, and now he's got a dream come true.
He was always destined to come here, Keith. He said there was never a doubt. He said he was going to Penn State games since I was 6 years old. License plates on his family cars read things like Penn State, and Joe knows that the clincher was his dog was named Nittany.
Back to Mitchell we go with a running game working. When you have a defense like Southern Miss likes to play, Bob, where they want to just fly all over the place, if you've got the heft, you just belly up and block the man in front of you and run at him.
This defense is very unorthodox, as Fran Ganner and the coaches, the offensive coaches for Penn State, tried to get some films and talk to some people at Conference USA about the defense of Southern Miss. They all rolled their eyes and said, wait till you see it. Well, they move around so much. They're unorthodox. One of the good things is quick counts. Penn State's done that a few times already.
Corey Jones is the man in motion. 7 plays. This is the first pass of the ball game for the Lions, and it's completed to Jones, who won the job over Chaffee Fields. And Jones will take the ball down inside the 10-yard line, and it looks like another first down. So Southern Mississippi came out, moved the ball pretty well, and then had the one play where the ball went awry, and they missed their chance to keep it and move it. Now Penn State trying to grind it down the field on the ground from their own 30-yard line. This will be a first and goal from just inside the 10.
It's an impressive first drive for a quarterback getting his first start, and a bunch of backs getting their first starts.
Mitchell. Number 34 comes across, T.J. Slaughter, to make the tackle for Southern Miss. That's a gain to the 7-yard line. It'll be second down and goal from the 7.
State has done it so far on the ground, just the one pass. And that's not unexpected. First game out of the box, first of the year.
5-man defensive front. Ball given to Cordell Mitchell. Mitchell down to the 1-yard line. It'll be third down and goal.
The strength of this offense for Penn State, if there is one, is that offensive line. The big, strong guys up inside. Take a look from behind the defense. It's Cole at center, and Fagan and Caruso, McKenzie, and Wedderburn getting the job done. 60 is Fagan.
I told you there are 4 300-pounders up there, and they're showing it right now. Third down and goal from the 1. Caramelli. Touchdown. One pass play. The rest of it a run. 70-yard march. Opening possession.
Mike Caramelli. He always wanted to come to Penn State. In his first start, he gets a touchdown. First drive.
Travis Forney now for the extra point. It's good. At 6:58 to go in the first quarter on the opening possession, Penn State 10 plays, 70 yards to take the lead, 7-0. Travis Forney will kick it off, and waiting for it is Brandon Francis. At least they'd like to have him return it. And he's going to roll way back in his end zone, but I don't think that would be a wise thing to do. So it'll come out to the 20 for a first down.
It was an impressive opening drive for Penn State. 10 plays, 70 yards, 9 rushes, and 1 pass. And here's a look at Caramelli. He said, going to Penn State is everything I've ever wanted. And getting to start, he says, I still get a chill when I walk down the tunnel coming into the stadium.
That was, of course, his first career touchdown. So, Mama, you better take a bigger punt. Here come the Eagles now. Let's see if they can answer. Lee Robert hands it off to Francis. He's got a problem. Loses a yard. Brad Scioli, number 50, was the man for the tackle, but it was spoiled by I think it was 95 or 96. David Fleischauer had the penetration to turn him back that way.
LeVar Arrington, number 11, had a piece of it also. Arrington and Gatton are 2 outside linebackers. They're going to share that position, and both of them are outstanding athletes.
Second down, 11. They go to the shotgun. Passes underneath, and loss on the play. Is coming through to make the defensive play is Anthony King. A corner on Brandon Francis, and another loss on the play. So Penn State gaining confidence on every play in this ball game.
Using 4 wide receivers. This is King right here. They're going to throw it to the back out of the backfield. If Southern Miss goes to 4 wide receivers, Penn State is going to go with 5 and 6 defensive backs.
It's 3rd down and 16. I know it says 15 perhaps, but believe me, it's closer to 16. And Lee Roberts steps up in the pocket, throws to the sidelines. The catch is made up at the 26-yard line by Sherrod Gideon, who only needed 35 yards coming into this game to become the all-time leading receiver for Southern Miss. And he now has 43, so he has assumed that lofty posture in the school's football history. But the Golden Eagles will have to punt it right here.
Back it up, back it up, back it up.
Jamie Purser, Red Bay, Alabama. There was another kicker from Red Bay, Alabama that became something of a folk hero in the state of Alabama, Van Tiffin. Remember 1985 with that after-the-gun field goal that won for the Tide against Auburn. Here's the kick by Purser. Must be something in the water down in Red Bay where the long legs come out of there. That ball's going to roll inside the 30 and roll dead. And there the Lions will have it. They lead in the ball game by a score of 7-0. You've got 5:18 to play in the first quarter. That was a 45-yard punt. So Penn State takes over just inside its 30. It's a half a yard farther away than it was the last time, but it's basically the same alignment. The Lions will send out with Kevin Thompson at the quarterback position. Chaffee Fields, however, is one of the wideouts now for the start of this possession. And Chaffee can haul the mail. Farinelli, the man in motion. Thompson's pass is going down the middle, and it is caught by Joe Nastasi for a first down at the Southern Mississippi 47-yard line. Very steady, solid performer, Nastasi.
From behind the defense. Play action pass, first down. Not a perfect throw, but it's something to build on. Good time to throw the football, too. First down.
Corey Jones checks in. He won the starting nod. He's number 7, and you have to listen for him to go by. You have trouble seeing him. Ball is given to Cordell Mitchell, and running behind that great big old offensive line, they just hammer their way down to the 41-yard line for a pickup of about 6, and here's 20.
Well, Keith, you talk about that big old offensive line, and right now they're playing old-fashioned Big Ten football that Bob is accustomed to watching. But my question is, when you're playing this kind of football and that line is dominating, what do you learn about a young quarterback? You've got to find some situations to learn something about the quarterback so Joe can make a decision. Keith?
Cordell Mitchell has 7 carries and 52 yards, so he's standing up to the challenge so far. And he's got it again, and he's got daylight for the first down. And then some. The second effort broke him out of the tackle, and Cordell gets his way to the 27-yard line for a Penn State first down.
Watch as the line is going to block down, and watch 67 McKenzie's. He's going to come over and trap the outside man. 67, everybody blocks down, then Mitchell makes a couple guys miss. Southern Miss has been known for their defense. This is a good outfit.
Thompson back, throw. A little bit late with it, a little bit soft with it, but Farinelli has the patience to wait for it and takes it down to the 15-yard line for another first down. So the Lions are moving it seemingly rather easily. It's behind the scenes of live television, but it's really behind the scenes of life. From the writer of A Few Good Men comes Sports Night. That'll be Tuesday, starting September 22nd on ABC. Inside the 15, it'll go officially down as the 14-yard line, where it is first down, and Omar Easy, the young man from Jamaica, has the ball, 243 pounds. He's just a baby. When he learns how, look out.
Hasn't played a lot of football, didn't he? He came over when he was a junior and played in high school, and all he ever did was give him the football. And what was Joe telling us yesterday? He got whacked a few times in practice by some of the linebackers, and like 3 guys hit him. And Joe went over to him when he was laying on the ground. And he says, "Get up." He says, "Oh, Mon. Not feeling good, Mon."
Kevin Thompson's 3 out of 3 for 44 yards, and Easy stays on the field. Thompson back throwing, and to the sidelines to Ceramelli, the fullback, out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. So Thompson did not look deep, and he had Chaffee Field a possibility over there, but he didn't look at him. He's a little eager to get rid of it, isn't he?
Well, I think he's doing all right, Keith. He did look downfield for a split second. So I think Franny Ganner, the offensive coordinator, is doing the right thing. He's easing him in. He's using that big offensive line. He's throwing on first down when there's not a lot of pressure rather than on third down like this situation.
3rd and 7 with Nastasi and Fields on the left side. He looks that way, goes for Nastasi, got his hand on it, ball behind him just a little bit. And Slaughter tipped it perhaps as he went over the line of scrimmage, and number 20, defending Leo Barnes, knocked it away. So it is 4th down, and here comes the field goal team.
Kevin's gotten a few of those balls tipped on that drive down there. And what that tells you is he's looking where he wants to throw the ball, and all the defensive guys have a chance to get their hands up.
Travis Forney out of Lock Haven, PA. 6 out of 8 last year. His long was 47. This is his first one, obviously. It's from 29 yards. Plenty of leg, and good. So at 2:36 to go in the first quarter, it's 10-0 Penn State. Big scoreboard for that one.
Go back and take a look and watch as he drops back to throw. Watch his head now. He's going to be looking this way. Look at him all the way. Stop it right there. See, he's looking right over here. The linebacker right here is Slaughter. See him looking at him? He's looking right at him. You got to drop back, and you can hold those linebackers with your head and your eyes. I know it sounds strange, but a quarterback can hold the linebackers, but if you, by looking one way and then throwing the other way.
I wonder if TJ can score to beat a cup that time. They didn't have a lot of open field, didn't they? Once again, the ball is kicked into the end zone and no return. So they've kicked it off 3 times, and 3 times they've had a touchback. At 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, 10-0 Penn State over Southern Mississippi.
Say after 2 drives of each side has had the ball twice, that Penn State has kind of maybe recovered a little bit. They had a long off season. They lost to Michigan State and lost to Florida the last 2 ball games, and really didn't play very well defensively.
They're just knocking Southern Miss off the line of scrimmage.
And defensively, they're doing a nice job.
Yep. They're absolutely dominating the line of scrimmage. Roberts changing his play. He's going to be a daddy sometime in September. That ball is thrown to Gideon Sherrod. He is up to about the 29-yard line. Where grabbing a piece of him is Bao Ju. Gideon now with 1,560 career receiving yards. That is a record
So
at
look
USF.
at Gideon. Ju, number 10, is a backup corner. Jerry Sandusky, the defensive coordinator, likes to play a lot of defensive guys, and he's not afraid to put in his backups against these outstanding receivers.
2nd down and a long one. Pass down the sidelines, caught. Gideon's got another one. Sherrod Gideon over the shoulder, and the ball was thrown perfectly. So Lee Roberts has made some perfect passes, and yet you go back to that first possession. He let one get away.
We played this same thing. Macklin, 27, is an outstanding corner, but the key there is the same as it was before. He gave him a lot of yardage from his alignment to the sideline, where the quarterback Roberts could lay the ball outside.
And the ball rests at the Penn State 48-yard line, where it is a first down for Southern Miss. 1 minute and 48 seconds to go. Gideon now 5 catches and 75 yards in the first quarter. Robert throws it hard. Ball is caught by Kevin Hurd, a backup receiver, and Kevin Hurd a senior out of West Point, Mississippi, gives them a first down at the Penn State 35-yard line.
Both teams using lots of players. It's a little warm down there on the field. You saw 3 or 4 substitutions coming in for the Golden Eagles. Those were wide receivers.
Changing the play. Penn State's got a 5-man front. 4 down. Handed off to Woods. Dwayne Woods, who was the all-time record-setting rusher for the state of Louisiana at Slidell. And the redshirt freshman slashes over the right side with some authority and picked up about 7 yards.
Keith, for those folks who haven't watched Southern Miss, just a little history. They opened up last year against Florida, lost that game 21-6, 4 turnovers in scoring territory. It's always tough yards down here. They got to get over the hump right now, Keith.
2nd down and 3. Roberts pass thrown hard, caught by Sherrod Gideon, and it's inside the 20 at the Penn State 18, and that's another first down.
It's a new formation for the Eagles. Look at this over here. You've got 3 eligible receivers lined up right, but look at all this room out here. Now what they're going to run is a little bit slant to the left side. Think you're going to run to the right or throw right? Sees it, throws to the left.
Put it on the 17-yard line for the first down. Single back is Francis. And in motion is Pinkston. Roberts throwing. Trying to set up a wide receiver screen out there, and the Lions climbed all over it and bring Gideon down for a loss on the play of a couple of yards.
Jerry Sandusky will always have an intelligent defensive secondary out there on the field. They may be small. These guys that play are all 5'8" and 5'9". Call them the Smurfs, but they are smart and they are quick.
And the quarter is over. So after 1, it's Penn State 10 and Southern Mississippi threatened after the first 15 minutes of play. Last play. The rest of it to run. 65. He's 346. Blackman is 318. And like I said, they can block out the sun. Now look how little everybody else is. There come Walls in. He's ordinary size.
you don't want to take those 2 on the boat with you at the same time, do you?
No, you make sure you separate them. From the 20-yard line, it is 2nd down and 13 now for Southern Mississippi as we start the 2nd quarter of play. And Gideon is in motion. Lee Roberts getting pressure, sets it up. Ball is completed. And again, there were enough guys staying home at the line of scrimmage that Brandon Francis couldn't find any place to go. And the man that got a piece of him was David Fleischhauer.
Courtney Brown, who is an outstanding player. Fleischhauer's along that defensive line. You know, after those Michigan State and the Florida game last year, where they gained almost 700 yards rushing against this defense, there was some people talking about maybe it was a defensive line. Maybe they don't weigh enough. Well, Jerry said they did a lot of soul searching in the offseason about this defense.
It is now 3rd down and 10. Out of the shotgun. Lee Roberts steps away, can't step away. Courtney Brown, number 86, got a hold of his shirt tail, and down he went. So once again, Southern Miss is able to move the ball effectively, but once they got inside the 20,
go ahead and
party
run
stopped.
this. Go ahead and run it. We'll see if anybody's open. Go ahead and run the telestrator. Now he's ready to throw. Stop it right there. Hey, nobody's open.
42-yard field goal try now by Tim Hardaway. He missed from 47. And he's going to miss from 42. So he's 0 for 2 outside the 40-yard line. And Penn State leads 10-0, and they get the ball back.
Well, that would have been a big boost for the Eagles if they could have gotten something out of that drive, Keith. The quarterback and his offensive team, you don't like to go down the field. If you just get something out of it, That makes you feel a little bit better. If you look at the numbers.
Rashard Casey is in the ball game for Penn State at quarterback. He's the, I don't want to call him the second man because that's not the case. They were almost dead even in the fall practice. That's why Joe really was reluctant to pick one, but he picked Thompson to start, who was a year older, been around the program a year longer, and now Rashard Casey is in. His first play goes to Saramelli for a yard.
And everybody, and here's a look at Rashard. Everybody in the press and everything you read, Keith, it's always a controversy. Always a quarterback, and there is no controversy. I mean, you have two quarterbacks. You have two tight ends that can play. You got three wide receivers. It's a competition. He's just finding out which one is going to step to the front.
2nd down and 9 from the 26-yard line. And Casey sets it up and throws a hammer down the middle, and it is caught. Nailed right on the chest of Concho Brown, a big old tight end from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He was an option quarterback in high school, threw the ball very seldom. He came to Penn State because he wanted to learn how to throw the ball.
If you look from behind, he actually did a lot of running in high school. Didn't throw much. He wanted to come and learn how to be a drop back passer, play action fake. Good throw by Casey.
3rd down and 1 now for Penn State. The ball is at the 34. 10-0. The Nittany Lions leading. Eric Cole snapping the ball. Goes to Cordell Mitchell. Locking his legs is Chandler Smith, number 29.
This is not new for Joe Paterno, two quarterbacks and not knowing which one wants to play. Back in 1980, when Todd Blackledge and Jeff Hostetler were here, he finally ended up playing Todd Blackledge, and then in 93, again with Kerry Collins and John Saka. But Joe says after playing Steve Spurrier in the bowl game last year, he said, well, Steve shows, he says, I could be a 2 quarterback guy. So I'm not too old to change.
Lions will get a 5-yard penalty for a false start as the left side tackle, Jordan Caruso, missed the snap count. And from the 41, the ball will come back to the 36, and it'll be 1st down and 15, and that's the first flag of the ball game.
And let me say, Keith, that sometimes when you change quarterbacks, you change the cadence. It's the same cadence, but it's just the inflection of it and how it's carried out.
You know, Bob and Keith, Rashard Casey was also doing something that every young quarterback should do when he was not in the ball game. He was right in the vicinity of Fran Gantner, listening, learning, watching everything going in. I think it's always an advantage for the second quarterback if he keeps his head in the ball game when he finally gets under center. Bob?
1st down and 15. It's Cordell Mitchell with the ball. And Mitchell will move it out to about the 43.
Cordell Mitchell may be getting a lot of the heavy load here today because, as we mentioned, a lot of the other running backs are banged up. Kenyatta Watson and Eberle. Of course, Aaron Harris got the knee problem.
I'm waiting to see Casey take off. That ball is thrown quickly over the line of scrimmage and completed again to Concho Brown. So Casey comes into the ball game with a whole different perspective than we saw from Kevin Thompson. The first 2 passes he throws go to his tight end.
I know you like that, Hoss.
Oh, yeah.
You see him looking there at his wristband. All the plays are written right there on the wristband. It's just a better way to communicate from the sideline to the quarterback in the huddle. You get some of these offensive linemen and you tell them what the play is on the sideline. By the time they run into the field, they say, well, I forgot what it was. So.
1st down on the the Southern Miss 49. That long ball down the sideline just thrown out of bounds. Joe Nastasi running under it, but Joe had no chance.
Keith, Bob Keith, Lynn Swan down here on the sideline. I talked to Franny Gantner. How many plays do you think those quarterbacks have on that wristband? 60, 70?
I would say probably, I don't know, about 100.
138, he said.
Yeah.
He said when he first drew them out, he had them on a piece of paper that went on their arm from their wrist all the way back to their elbows. He said the two quarterback reduced it to that little patch you see. And I said to him, oh, this is a game definitely not for a 40-year-old man with bad eyesight.
Or your half glasses. Second down and 10. It's Mitchell. Down inside the 45 of Southern Miss.
There you see Fran telling the wide receiver Nastasi what the play is. It could be something as simple as just he may say Joe, he says, tell him play number 55. So he just looks on the play on his wristband, play number 55. A lot easier and simpler.
A telling graphic you just saw. All right, penalty flags all over the place. Probably going to be a holding call. Look at this Casey. You don't think he can't run? Oh my goodness. That's probably going to come back though, because it's got all the marks in the world of being a holding call. Look how slim and trim Jim Kimmerling looks. Boy, he must have been running up the hill. Joe never changes. He's always slim. Sue won't feed him if he gains 6 pounds. So that run by Rashard Casey is wiped out on a 16-yard penalty. It's now 3rd down and 21. Coming Tuesdays this fall on ABC, George Jefferson, Archie Bunker, all of those into D.L. Hughley. Moves to the burbs from the hood in the Hughleys Tuesdays starting September 22nd on ABC.
That sounds kind of interesting.
What are the burbs? Oh, the suburbs.
Suburbs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I never lived in the suburbs. I don't know anything about that. From the 40-yard line, he got it away somehow, and the pass is completed to Sam Aiza. He's going to make a big play out of it, but he is well short of the 1st down. You're going to see people today probably that you might not see the rest of the season. But they're out there today. Sam is listed as a fullback. So it's trying out time and searching around to see who's going to do the heavy work when the field gets soggy and wet and miserable and you really got to hunker down. The kick is away by Pat Pigeon. And it's a good one, but it tumbles into the end zone and will come out to the 20-yard line, where it'll be 1st down for Southern Miss. That was a 48-yard punt for Pat Pigeon. Numbers on the offensive roster, and obviously it was our mistake. It was Ed Drummond on that last play. He's a freshman, and he's expected to play quite a bit. The fellow we tried to identify probably not even suited up. Now it's time for the Aflac trivia question. This week's question: which team did Penn State and Joe Paterno defeat for his 200th victory? We'll be back with the answer in a little while. We're in the 2nd quarter of play with Penn State leading by a score of 10-0 with 8 minutes and 34 seconds to play in the 2nd quarter, and Southern Mississippi 1st down and 10.
Winningest, Joe is the winningest active coach. 33 years as the head coach here at Penn State. Been here like 48, I think.
Calling the play at the line of scrimmage, Lee Roberts. In the air, ball goes to Sherrod Gideon.
Lee Roberts pass complete to number 11, Sherrod Gideon. Stopped by 19, Anthony.
He stopped short
2nd down.
Of the 30.
It's 9 straight completions now for Roberts. He's 12. He's 13 out of 15.
I am, as always.
And Gideon has 95 career receptions, which is a Southern Mississippi record as well. The coach, Jeff Bowers, was a quarterback. in some way or another, Jeff has had 20 years of association with Southern Mississippi. That ball is thrown out of bounds, intended for Gideon, and well covered on the play by Anthony King.
Well, Keith, Gideon was well covered that time, but I think the only thing that's going to stop him are balls being thrown out of bounds, because so far in this afternoon, he's caught them inside, outside. He's caught them with pressure. He's caught them with off coverage. He's making the defense do all kinds of things. He has 8 catches for 92 yards, Keith. He is a complete receiver. Unbelievable the way he's playing this afternoon so early in the season.
8 catches, 92 yards on the day. Sidearmed it, trying to work the ball in between people and get it to Gideon, but Maurice Daniels knocked it away, and it is incomplete. And so on 4th and 2, Southern Mississippi will have to punt it. Penn State continuing to dominate the line of scrimmage. Jamie Purser is in for his second punt. His first was 45 yards. David Macklin is deep for Penn State. That field was absolutely, there wasn't a mark on it yesterday. Beautiful, groomed and conditioned. Good as I have ever seen. I wanted to just lay down on it and take a nap.
Yeah.
High kick downfield. Macklin lets it go through his hands, and it goes out of bounds. And he's probably lucky because the Eagles were downfield in a hurry, and the Lions will take over. First down at about their own 23-yard line. 48-yard punt with 7:43 to go in the first half. I don't think you will. In fact, I don't think you can see much of him until Big Ten conference play starts, because they're convinced that that knee is not yet sound enough. He tore it up last year in the Minnesota game. Rashard Casey working now behind the second offensive unit along the line of scrimmage. Throws a perfect pass, except it was maybe 1 yard short. Parents Parish spoiled it for Southern Mississippi, but it was close to being right on the number.
Shows you a little bit of the arm strength of Rashard Casey. Second offensive line is in, most of them anyway. It's the ball
Drummond under
away.
it. See, he just a fraction longer, it might have worked. Second down and 10.
The only thing Drummond could have done, Keith, is to slow down to shield him from the ball and not get there so quickly to the ball, but ball was a little underthrown.
Nastasi is the man in motion. And it's Omar Easy in the backfield, getting the ball and getting a taste of terra firma as Ty Trahan decks him. And there is a penalty flag. The second offensive line, we said, was in the game. That's John Blick, Greg Ransom, Francis Spano at center, Gabe Tencher, Josh Mitchell, Grant Basin. And the holding call goes against Penn State. The officials today, Big Ten crew, Jim Kimmerling, we told you, referee, Carl Paganelli, umpire, Mike Spanier, the linesman, Wilson Jackson, the line judge, Tom Clark, field judge, Tom Bryan, the side judge, and the back judge is Jim Lapatina. Southern Miss says we'll take the play, thank you. It is third down and 12.
It's not unusual for Penn State to substitute their lines either, Keith. They've got a lot of confidence in that second offensive line, and that's why they're in there.
Now we've got another penalty flag thrown by the umpire. False start against the Lions, so that backs them up 5.
But this is some of the things that happen when you play two quarterbacks. The cadence is a little bit different. The inflection is a little bit different when you go in. And this is just something that Joe's got to put up with, and he knows it's the first game of the year. You're going to have these mistakes.
That's a dead ball foul. It's enforced. There's no option for Southern Mississippi on the play. It put back on the 16-yard line, and now it is third down and 17. There's Fifth. Rossville, Georgia, enrolled at Georgia for a year and then transferred over to Southern Miss. His next door neighbor is Ray Perkins, living in Petal. Casey comes out, comes back inside, takes off. And he's run out of bounds up around just short of the 30-yard line. Gabe Pincher got him around the corner. A big old guard. And that is short of the first down. So now the Nittany Lions will bring in Pat Pigeon to punt. First one was a good one, 48 yards. Both punters have delivered well so far. Eddie Shaw will be the deep man for Southern Mississippi. Number 25. Oh, that's a good. That's a Hall of Famer all the way back to the 12-yard line. And Shaw comes back up close to the 25. So a beautiful kick and a fine return. 62 yards and a 13-yard return. Penn State beat when Joe Paterno got his 200th victory back in 19 here in Happy Valley.
Against whom, Keith?
Bowling Green. Isn't that incredible?
It is.
That's incredible. He wins 200 against Bowling Green, and suddenly he's got a chance for 300 in the same team.
What about 400?
It's possible. He might still be here.
How old is Joe? 71?
72.
72?
Yep.
It'll take about 10 years.
But I'll tell you what.
10, maybe 9.
I'm not going to be here. I'm not coming.
In fact, you were just moping around here looking around Happy Valley for the last time. Huh?
Look at me.
Yeah.
24-yard line, first down. With Southern Mississippi getting the ball now, trailing by a score of 10-0. And this is the team that's capable of hitting you quick.
Eagles need a score.
Quickly. Now finally gets it off, and he completes the pass to Todd Pinkston, and Pinkston trots out of bounds up at the 34-yard line. I think that's just a little bit short with the. I can't tell because that marker across the way, you don't know if it's on it, but it looks short.
It's a nice job by Lee to get out of the problem, get out of the trouble, get the ball upfield. You mentioned Pinkston is tall and skinny. I mean, he only weighs 165 pounds, 6'3". Coach Keck the other day was telling me, he says he's skinny. He says he has to move around in the shower just to get wet.
He's made out of hickory limbs and pipe cleaners. Handed up inside to Dwayne Woods. Woods is a 185-pound redshirt freshman, and he bangs in there and gets the first down at the 37-yard line for Southern Mississippi.
I want to go back to Todd Pinkston. What was that? Hickory sticks and pipe cleaners?
Hickory limbs.
I got to write some of this stuff down just
Put it on the 38, and it's first down. 10-0, the Nittany Lions with that growl echoing across the valley. And here comes Southern Miss looking right down the barrel on first down. That's Kingston going in motion. Roberts gets good protection. The pass is away, and Gideon cannot get to it. Anthony King would give him no room. King playing the boundary with him, running shoulder to shoulder, and he kept him on the chalk and never let him come back.
That's good coverage this time. Gideon's been beating Macklin on the other side. King does a nice job there of running in the path where Gideon was running. I mean, you know, you got your back turned to him, so the official's not going to say you used your hands, but you use your body to block their path. It's a nice move these defensive backs are using these days.
Second down and 10. Oh, lucky to get it back. Lucky to get it back. Aaron Gatton and David Macklin were over there. It went right through Gatton's hand. One of them, anyway. There was a fella in the blue shirt that had a hold of the ball. See, that's Macklin on him right there.
Yeah, Macklin.
Yeah, Macklin. Wrong again. Not as quick as they used to be.
Well, you got the right guy, though. You got 1 out of 2.
Out of the shotgun. Roberts throws it down the middle. He gets turned upside down. Pass intended for Todd Pinkston. It goes incomplete. The guy that hit him was Courtney Brown. And when Courtney comes calling, he normally leaves a footprint. .5:46 to go here in the first half of play. And the Eagles will punt. Bruce Ranch is back there for Penn State, number 1 from Richmond, Virginia. Virginia looked pretty good the other night.
Yeah, they know.
15-0. Bruce, you should have come up and made the catch. You had more daylight then than you do now. They finally pounce on him at the 25-yard line. 42-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Well, the exclusive challenge for that championship the last 3 or 4 years, and they're loaded up again. So Kevin Thompson comes back at quarterback now for Penn State with 5 minutes and so 20 seconds to play, and hands off to Cordell Mitchell, and the gain is about 3 yards.
We'll keep you up to speed on the quarterback situation. Thompson was in for 2 drives and produced 10 points, got a touchdown and a field goal. And then Rashard Casey came in for the next 2 drives, and his unit had to punt. But one of his times he had the second unit offensive line in there also.
That's Omar Easy lined up at tailback now. He's getting quite a bit of action here in the first half. He's 243 pounds. He played 2 years of high school ball after his family moved to Massachusetts from Jamaica. So he doesn't know a whole lot yet about what those big fellows are doing up in front of him, but as soon as he figures it out, I'm telling you, he's got tremendous potential.
And you're right, Keith, but most of the time that he is in there now, they're going to be handing him the ball because it's easy to run with it, but as far as knowing who to block if you're not carrying it and picking up linebackers and who's free and who's not, he doesn't know all that yet.
Yeah, that pass protection is
yeah,
takes a little learning, doesn't it? First string offensive unit is back in along the line of scrimmage. Here's the pass thrown on the numbers to Joe Nastasi, and a first down for Penn State on the Southern Miss side of the field, down at the 46-yard line. And that stops the clock at 4 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the first half.
That's a nice throw by Thompson. Had good pressure on him, just a little in and out post corner, and it's a good throw from behind the quarterback.
Nastasi got loose that time. He was running the meadow. Ball is on the 46-yard line. Thompson's 5 out of 6 now for 69 yards in the ball game. Throw it again. There's no pressure. He just leaned on it and threw it to the ground.
Poor throw.
Yep. Sam Crenshaw, the intended receiver, a sophomore from Young. Only 6 seniors.
6 seniors
in the 2 starting units, right?
For Penn State.
For
2
Penn
on
State.
offense,
Yep.
4 on defense.
Well, you might say 99 could be an entertaining year.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
They'll be loaded.
we got a lot of guys coming back next year.
Eric McCoo, who is a true freshman, number 8. Almost got caught moving, found a big hole over the right side. Eric McCoo, all the way to the 5-yard line. A freshman out of Red Bank, New Jersey, and Darion Brutley finally brought him down.
Well, he did a nice job of running, but he got some good blocking at the offensive line. Take a look. Take a look. Here's that right tackle's going to come in and make a good block. And then he does a good job of just staying on his feet, breaking tackles. McKenzie, 67, and Wedderburn, number 69. As you mentioned, Keith, a true freshman.
And it's 1st and goal, Penn State, with Easy, the single back. He's got it. He's got a touchdown. That's what powerful legs and 243 pounds can do for you.
Just not letting anybody get to his legs. Hands the ball to the official. Joe, I like that. Easy, Mon, easy.
He may be something before he's done. So the Lions leading 16-0, going now for the point. Dominating. The offensive line has just been totally dominating. I have not called Ordelius Thomas's name one single time.
The defensive end for the Eagles.
Yep. Taking him out of the ball game. Travis Forney. Punt. Chad Krell is the holder at quarterback. Pops it up and good. 17-0. Penn State has the lead. A look here at some upcoming program on ABC. Go back to 19. 30-26. For those of you up in Indiana and across areas that perhaps don't have a chance to be exposed to Southern Mississippi, that's where Brett Favre came from. There was another quarterback of note down there as well, Reggie Collier. Outstanding quarterback. Big, strong guy. It's located in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Or was it in 1989 when Brett was there at Southern Miss when they went to Jacksonville and beat Florida State?
Yep.
Bobby was telling us, Bobby Bowden telling us about that game last week.
You know, there's been a relationship between the Penn State people and Southern Miss for a long time because Rip Engel, who was the man who hired Joe Paterno, and Joe worked on his staff for a long time, but Rip and Ty Van, who was the long-time coach at Southern Miss, they were good friends and spent time together and so forth, but never played each other. I still live down in Hattiesburg. On the 35-yard line. Kickoff, and the deep man is Brandon Francis. Boy, is it a nice day. Oh, my goodness. Absolutely as good as it could be. The Beaver Stadium is full of folks. Drifting well back into the end zone. Brandon will not bring it out. First down at the 20.
Penn State has done it mainly on the ground. Southern Miss with only 7 yards. But Penn State with 163 yards. And the impressive thing, they're averaging 7.4 yards per game. I mean, yards per carry, excuse me. Yeah. Passing, they've gotten about 97 yards through the air to go along with that rushing yardage.
All right, Lee Roberts now comes up. We'll run one on first down. Brandon Francis carries and gets a couple of yards, working up the middle. The attendance today, 96,617. They're going to go to 103.5. Wilson Club Room, an $84 million expansion program. Lee Roberts is 14 of 21 for 127 yards here in the first half, but he has not been able to get him on the scoreboard. Brandon Short steps up into the gap, looking right behind. Roberts steps back and lets it go, and the pass is caught by Sherrod Gideon. And he's knocked down very quickly by LeVar Arrington, that swift-footed linebacker. What they got, those two guys that play that position, they were both sprinters in high school.
Yes,
right?
they were. Here's a look at Arrington, too. Number 11 on the coverage. Right here is Arrington. The ball is going to be thrown out here, and watch as he's going to sprint to make the play on the wide receiver. He was a running back. Joe converted him to a linebacker, and he was a sprinter.
Rod Gideon with 9 catches now and 99 yards, and Brad Scioli runs down the quarterback. Scioli, who was a tight end a year ago, defensive lineman before that, and Brad says he stood on the sidelines and watched Michigan State run over him and Florida run over him, and he said, by golly, I'm going to go back over there. We're not going to have that anymore.
It's his first sack Number 5. He wears that number because he was a quarterback in high school. He just grew out of that size and came here. It's his first sack in 3 years. As you mentioned, Keith, he missed a year and was on offense for a while.
Penn State has called that timeout with 2 minutes and 2 seconds to play. And here's John and Todd. 2:02. Penn State trying to get a hammerlock on this thing here in the early going when they go to the clubhouse. A lot of players at Penn State.
That's been all Penn State in the first half. Kevin Thompson has had 3 possessions and has scored on all 3 of his possessions.
They should get good field position. That's why they called the time. Bruce Branch is deep to return it. Jamie Purser's in for the punt.
Defense is playing well. Jerry Sandusky's smiling again after months of worrying about his defense.
4th kick for Purser. He's been over 40 on all of them. Pressure, got it out. Grant circles under it at the 48-yard line. Just comes back up the field. North and south. Down to the 20. Purser, the punter, got his feet and stopped him.
There's no doubt that the exchange of punts has been big in favor of the Nittany Lions.
36 yards on that punt, a 32-yard return.
Take a look here from the end zone. Just poor tackling. And a nice job of running.
I'll tell you what, Bob, they got a bunch of young'uns that can run.
They've got high school All-Americans all over this roster for Penn State.
And Bob and Keith, you could see that coming on Penn State's side in terms of the punt return. Their punt returners haven't been in good position. They've, fair caught a couple, made some bad decisions about catching them, just not coming up and making the catch. And the blocking has been setting up each time. Perfect time to do it, close to the end zone. A good scoring opportunity here at the end. Keith?
First down, Thompson back to throw. Hums one to the goal line, and it is incomplete. Nastasi is saying, wait a minute, I scooped it up. Oh, you didn't go. He was on the ground anyway.
Jeff Bauer was telling us yesterday that last year his special teams were really special. In fact, his kickoff return team led the nation, but he lost a lot of those guys. And this year he says his special teams were still in a matter of being solidified. He was concerned about them, and for good reason. His punt coverage has not been good here today.
Here comes McCoo again. He gets in there with some gusto, doesn't he? He picks up 5 yards. Adelius Thomas getting the tackle. So there's Adelius showing up. He's had his hands full because I expect they've probably been a couple of guys on him all the half.
Yeah. Not seeing the Eagles defense jumping around as much as they normally did last year. I don't know why that is, but last year, on some occasions, they just jumped around and moved around the alignments. You never knew where they were going to be.
Because Penn State's big enough to straight block and knock them backwards.
And run right up. They knew that the staff would just line up and run right at them.
Minute 35 to play in the first half, 17-0, and Penn State trying to put another one up there. Coming up on the Valvoline halftime report, John Saunders, Todd Blackledge, and I would presume the scores and highlights and assorted things. And there's some surprises today. That one out in Eugene, Oregon, really started it. Great game up at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse.
It's a little surprised at the offensive scoring in that one, but when you look at the athletes involved up there, Donovan, McNabb and those guys, they got a lot of talent there.
3rd down and 6. And that time they blew it up the middle and finally got some pressure. Adelius Thomas breaking loose now for 2 plays in a row. You know, Adelius has probably been buried under blue shirts, and the coach is going to say at halftime, "Where you been?" He's going to say, "I've been near death." Three guys all over me all day.
Well, they've been moving him around. That's their normal routine. But that's the first time they moved him all the way inside and stood him up as a linebacker and brought him right up the middle.
Boy, he's a big, good-looking kid, though, isn't he? 39-inch vertical leap with that size and weight. 33-yard field goal try now for Travis Forney, who has made one from 29. Sprell puts it down. The kick, plenty of leg on it, and down the highway. So with 1:27 remaining in the first half, Penn State moves out to a 20-0 lead.
Keith, there's a look at the 2 touchdowns that Penn State scored early in the first quarter. Saramelli going in from 1 yard out for his first career touchdown. And then the Big Easy, Omar from Jamaica, says, "I like this one."
The Big Easy is New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
What a great country, huh? You come here, they give you a free education. You go out and play some football. Oh, great country.
It's like that win. He can't believe he's getting to play football and going to school free at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Big receive for Southern Miss, number 35, Brandon Francis, to kick off for Penn State, number 14, Travis Forney.
They were coming in here early this morning.
And acid sales, record level.
Bunch of cookouts as we were coming into the ballpark earlier today.
113,000 brats. Oh. Brandon Francis is waiting. No. 1:27 remaining now as the Golden Eagles will come up to the 20. 5 kickoffs and 5 touchbacks. And the special teams coach's heart has been warmed. Taken by the creamery.
You know all the good spots, I tell you. When we go around to these college towns, there's a look at Lee Roberts, 15 of 22 and 134, but no points on the board for Southern Miss.
Lee gets it off under pressure, and it is incomplete. Gideon was in the area, but he had no chance really to catch it. There was a double coverage over there waiting for him. Courtney Brown, very obvious again.
For 86, he's a good one, too. Had a problem last year with a broken thumb. Courtney Brown wore a cast most of the season and really didn't have that good a year, but he's looking forward to big things this year.
Well, after people are ragging on him for the whole offseason, these defensive guys are pretty cranky. I don't like anybody running over him a whole lot. This time Roberts has good protection. The ball is thrown there in the middle short to Eddie Shaw, but it's only 2 yards. And they're looking at 3rd down and 8. The clock ticking along, and Penn State is in control.
It was interesting talking with Lee Roberts yesterday out here on the field. He's a bright young guy. I was very impressed with him. He's come in and done a nice job holding this team together.
Passes away down the sidelines. Did he catch that?
Caught it. Whether was he
My
inbound?
goodness, Kevin Hurd comes up with a whale of a catch on the chalk over there and moved the chains, stopping the clock. 35 seconds to play.
Hurd was knocked out of bounds. You won't see it from this view, but Hurd was knocked out of bounds and then came back in. You can do that in college football if you were forced out, and you can still come back in and make a play on the ball.
And that was a good play. On the Penn State 49. He wants to go big, but can't. Throws it to Pinkston, and Pinkston will get out of bounds. No, he didn't. He didn't get out. And the clock's going to run on him. Now they stop it.
Yeah, nice play by Lee there. Roberts, it looks like he's limping a little bit to keep that alive and pick something up. If they can get down and get at least 3 points. It'd be some positive thing going into half for Jeff Bauer in the offense.
It looked like he wanted to go deep with that one and didn't give him time. Well, if you got people looking deep and thinking deep, and you can drag a speedster like a Pinkston across like that, he sometimes can make something exciting happen.
Yeah, and if they can run with the ball after they catch it, especially also.
So they put 2 seconds back on the game clock, and that's what we have remaining. Eagles have 1 timeout remaining. 2? That said 1. Oh, well. Second down and 1, and you know that Penn State is playing center field. Thinking deep. Raymond Walls has come off the field now. Gideon comes off the field. I'm surprised at that. It's second down and 1. I guess they want to go get their first down, but they've only got 22 seconds to play.
They got to be throwing it here.
I would think. Double wide to this side and 1 up at the top. So there's 3 wideouts in there, and Roberts back. Skill is after him. They throw it underneath. The pass is caught, and it's caught for about a 3-yard gain and a first down, so the clock doesn't move much. And put the ball at the 38-yard line.
That was a heck of a catch.
That's when he was upside down. Eddie Shaw from McGee, Mississippi. This is one of those times where sooner or later you got to tee it high and let it fly, because you got 8 seconds left to play in the first half, and that pass was completed to Brendan Francis.
Well, the field goal kicker for the Eagles has missed 2 field goals, 1 of 42 and 1 of 47. So that's about where we are right now. If they don't get any closer, it'd be about a 46-yard field goal.
Yeah. Got plenty of time on the play clock, 10 seconds. Now the whistle stopped it at 10 seconds. And Jim Kimberlin says that's my time. They have to untie the knot. They've got the chain.
I don't think we're going to need to chain the next 8 seconds of the half here.
Nope. Ball's on the 29-yard line. Passes away, deep sideline, caught by Gideon. The pass is complete with 2 ticks remaining on the clock, and the ball is down at the 12-yard line. Now you got a chance to put 3 up. Timeout call by Southern Miss.
Timeout, Southern Miss.
Do you go or do you kick it? I'd like to have some points on the board, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think they're going to talk about it. I think it's a matter of here's Gideon at the top, number 11. He's going to go down, break to the inside. Jew stays to the outside, so he just breaks, throws the ball back to the sideline. Does a nice job catching the ball, getting a foot down. How many catches is that now?
That's
for
10.
10 catches in the first half for Gideon, 116 yards. Jeff right there thinking that
ties a school record, his career high.
Jeff says, just give me 3. Give me 3 points. Get me on the board. And I agree. Let's get something positive going into halftime.
It'll go in the books as a 29-yard field goal try by Tim Hardaway. Oh, that's net. My goodness. Keith Caton had to get away from him, and so Southern Miss loses the 29-yard field goal opportunity, and they go to the clubhouse with no point. Penn State has 20, and the next few minutes will be spent in our New York studio.
All right.
2-yard line. Now let's take a look at the Morgan Stanley Dean Witter first half stats.
Take a look at Penn State. Rushing yards 167, passing yardage you got 97. Rushing yards for the Eagles minus 18. Now that comes from a couple of sacks that they lost some yardage on. And that's no turnovers. That's the same number of plays. And here comes Kevin Thompson. He was in the ball game for 4 series, and he scored on all 4 possessions for Penn State.
Yard line. Now let's take a look at the Morgan Stanley Dean Witter first half stats.
Take a look at Penn State. Rushing yards 167, passing yardage you got 97. Rushing yards for the Eagles minus 18. Now that comes from a couple of sacks that they lost some yardage on. And that's no turnovers. That's the same number of plays. And here comes Kevin Thompson. He was in the ball game for 4 series, and he scored on all 4 possessions for Penn State.
And it's Cordell Mitchell, deep man in the backfield, had a good first half. He does not get this time back to the line of scrimmage as John Nix penetrated and made the tackle, number 98.
Some highlights for some Penn State running backs. Cordell Mitchell early in the ball game. McCoo shakes loose on his first college carry. And Omar Easy getting into the end zone. Some new names at running back for Penn State.
It's second down and 13. Scoreboard says 12, but it's 13. Ball from the 29-yard line. Thompson going to play action and set inside the 15-yard line. Ooh. Adelius Thomas was the first man to get there, and that was a mugging. I mean, it was a jailbreak.
They twisting him around.
Tore everybody loose and came out of there. Wow.
Thompson needs to get down. Adelius coming from the outside. Now, when somebody this big's got you, just go down, fall down. Don't try and be a hero. He gets his legs all crossed up.
Very good way to get a knee busted.
Oh, boy.
Because you're not going to win a wrestling match with Adelia Thomas. I'll guarantee you're not. That's his 4th tackle, first sack, and Rashard Casey has now come on the field at quarterback.
The plan going in, if you just joined us, was to split the time. Both of them earned the right to play.
Rashard probably going to send Joe a note and say, thanks a lot, guys. 3rd down and 27.
Yeah.
Comes on.
And Thompson's on the sideline getting checked out by the trainer.
Yeah, I think he's shaken up in that last tackle. Yeah. He took pounding.
He needs to get down. He's 6'5" and 219 pounds, but he's not as big as a defensive end.
So on 3rd and mile and a half, Casey rolls it right. Takes off with it and runs up across the 20 and out of bounds. Ron Bell chased him out. And so Penn State comes out for its first possession in the second half and looks very tentative.
Well, it's a good series as you take a look at Kevin Thompson. Looks like something maybe with his neck or head. Good defensive series for Southern Miss. That's what they needed. Come out, stop them, and get the ball back.
Pat Pigeon's punt. Not very long on the bounce. It's loose. Lions have it on the way to the end zone. Mac Morrison, touchdown.
You can't advance a muff.
No, you can't. It was a muff. Okay, not a fumble, but a muff.
He never had possession.
It's not a touchdown. May bring it back out here where he lost it, and that would be on the 34.
I'll tell you what, Jeff Bauer, as you take a look at this replay, and that's going to be come back, but Jeff Bauer was telling us yesterday he was concerned about his special teams. Well, he has good reason because that punt return was muffed. He's had 2 missed field goals. He's had 2 bad snaps. He's had a punt coverage that broke down and allowed Penn State to get the possession on his 20-yard line. It's just been a miserable day on special teams for the Eagles.
Kevin Thompson comes back for Penn State and gives it to Cordell Mitchell. And Mitchell goes back to doing what Penn State did so well in the first half. So the muff gives Penn State a huge break to start the second half of play after Southern Mississippi had stopped them.
You just can't go on the road and expect to beat a team like Penn State and give them this many opportunities.
We talked to Jeff Bowers yesterday. Jeff said that special teams would have an important role in this ball game. And coming out for halftime, he said he was sorely disappointed with the way his special teams are playing the kicking game. They've given up field position with their special teams. Once again, they've now given on a muff punt. They've given Penn State excellent field position. What they've got to do is really settle down. You know, if they had gotten that first field goal, Keith, and gotten under the scoreboard first, might have done wonders for their confidence. They might have been a little more consistent. But they missed that. They missed another field goal, then the bad snap. And just keep mounting and mounting. And now they find themselves in a very deep hole. They've got to have a big play, Keith. Not just consistent play, but a big play to get their spirits back up and get back in this ball game.
Takes patience. A little common sense doesn't hurt sometimes either. From the 17-yard line, it's Mitchell picking his way through the traffic inside the 15 to the 14. Marvin Brown making that tackle for Southern Miss. The suspicion was that Southern Mississippi might be outmanned. And so far, the game reflects that is true along the line of scrimmage, particularly. But the Nittany Lions have been able to sit on the ball and control it.
Defensively, Southern Miss lost 6 defensive starters. 3 of them were in the secondary, and a few of them were along the line there. So
Mitchell again. T.J. Slaughter makes the tackle. Chris Eberle will be probably coming back to join the team. He failed the physical. Wasn't in the proper condition, and they don't play here unless they pass that conditioning test.
That's the same thing that happened to Anthony Cleary. Yep. Failed the physical, and he decided to transfer to Shippensburg.
Eberle then turns right around and gets tendonitis in his Achilles, so he is, I don't know if he's past it yet. He could be back. Kevin Thompson to the corner. It's a touchdown. Caught by Joe Nastasi. Kevin Thompson took a pretty good lick from John Nix after he released that ball, and he looked like he's very tender. There's the whack. Ooh.
He never saw the touchdown, but there's the catch that he didn't see. But you know, when he threw it, he knew that it was going to be a score because of how open Nastasi was and where he was throwing it.
Extra point try by Forney. Good. 10 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the third quarter. 27-0. The Nittany Lions of Penn State now rolling it up against Southern Mississippi. 7-0 now, early in the third quarter of play. In control of the ball game. Brandon Francis is the deep man for Southern Mississippi, and so far he has had no chance to return one. This time he's going to come 5 yards deep out of the end zone and do it anyway, and gets it up across the 25 to the 27.
Let's go back and take a look at the touchdowns. Kevin Thompson is right here. Now this is what he's seeing, this huge area out here. Then he also sees that his man has got one-on-one coverage, and he knows he's just going to run a route straight up the field, a little fade route. All he's got to do is throw it down to that area, down, underthrows it a little bit, but Nastasi gets up and beats Barnes for the touchdown.
Kevin Thompson, who has been battered a bit of late here in the early going of the second half. His numbers you saw there. It's the best starting position of the ball game for Southern Mississippi. And they will try the run, and it'll work for a couple of yards with Francis wiggling in the traffic up to about the 30-yard line.
Well, Hoss, I think, as I've heard you say a few times in the past, that last muff on that punt by Southern Miss was a will breaker. They may have got back in this ball game, but now it's 27-0, and they've got all the good momentum that they had coming out at halftime is evaporated.
Yep, it'll kill your will. And just beyond the 30, 2nd down and 7. Lee Roberts hands it off. They'll try to pound in there and get something on the ground. And that gain for Francis will get up to around the 36-yard line. So they'll need at least a yard and close to 2 as we look at 3rd down. Perspective on this, Southern Mississippi's enrollment, total students, is around 13,000. Here at Penn State, it's about 43,000. So there's they're outsized a bit all the way around here. But then Penn State's been here a long time. And it's a great epicenter of Pennsylvania. That's short of the 1st down. Looks like. Let's see if they unpile him. That's Dwayne Woods, the redshirt freshman, trying for it. He got a better mark than I thought he was going to get for that 2nd effort, and it's close enough for Jim Kimmerling to bring on the change.
And talk about where these two teams, Keith, get their players also. Southern Miss down in Mississippi goes about it a little bit differently than Penn State goes about it up here. They get their choice of Pennsylvania, Ohio, New Jersey, and the like. High school All-Americans coming in one after the other, where Jeff Bauer, on the other hand, 1st down.
He got it.
Yeah, he got it. Jeff Bauer, on the other hand, has to rely on the junior college route a little bit more. Penn State has no junior college transfers on their roster, and the Eagles have, I think, about 17. The last time I looked.
Well, they were gone 8-3 and 9-3 the last 2 seasons, and of course the legend goes on with Joe. He was remarkable.
Had a bad year last year by most people's accounts, and went 9-3.
9-3 is a bad year. Everybody's hanging their head.
Yeah.
Roberts hit from behind and now throws off balance. He had Pinkston all by himself. There wasn't anybody around Pinkston, and in the meantime, Lee's trying to keep from being decapitated by the charging lineman, and finally saw him, but being hit, he couldn't get it to him. Next Saturday in prime time, you got Notre Dame and Michigan State. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern on ABC Sports. And in the afternoon regional matchups, good games there. Texas and UCLA, Syracuse, Michigan. Those two in particular could be very entertaining. Syracuse losing today by a point at home to Tennessee. 34-33. Pressure coming. Passes away too high. Intended for Pinkston. And Scioli was coming down the highway at him like an 18-wheeler and no brakes. He let it go quick and hard, and it didn't work. So it's 3rd down and 10.
Number 5 at bottom left of your screen is Brad Scioli. In the last play, pressure came from the other side, Courtney Brown.
Pass is thrown to Gideon, and what a great effort by Sherrod Gideon to make the catch. But there is a penalty flag back from where near the ball was thrown.
A great catch. No matter what happens, this is a
hold against Southern Miss. So Gideon loses the catch and the yardage.
Watch this catch. This ball is thrown way back to the outside, away from him. Hell of a catch.
You see that Oregon score? Looks like old Mike Belotti's got something cooking in Eugene, doesn't
it? Yes. Early in the season, 1st and 2nd weeks of the season, you see a lot of surprises. Some of these coaches with programs that they're turning around, like Bellotti out at Oregon, and You never know what kind of team you're going to have till you get into the season, first, second week of the season.
That was a 12-yard penalty. 3rd down and 22 now. And Roberts chased out of the pocket trying to take off with it. And he is tripped up. They had to go all the way up to the 47-yard line to get a first down, so they're a long way from that. And Penn State continues to control the line of scrimmage. This will be the 5th punt of the ball game for Purser. Pretty good kick. Tail dragger. He didn't get it to turn over and is taken by Brandt. And Bruce Brandt will come up to the 35, and there's a penalty flag. Guys may be getting a little tired, getting a little frustrated. Those kind of things start to become elements that play into the game.
Yep.
Vote. Vote.
Whose vote has the most weight?
Man in a white hat. Face mask. Against Southern Miss.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty from the end of the run on the kicking team. First down.
Oh, the bad things are piling up for the Golden Eagles now. They're getting tired. They're on the road. And you've got 7:23 to go in the 3rd quarter. A touchdown. It looked like the body and the ball was across, but they mark him out just a yard short.
Good throw. I think that is a touchdown. The ball,
like the ball was over.
The ball, if the ball crosses the plane. Let's see. Stick the ball in there. His foot is not out of bounds yet. Yeah, that's a good touchdown. Not a very good call. From the way we look at it up here.
Timeout called by Southern Mississippi at 5:35 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Himself today.
Penalty flag.
Illegal movement in the offensive line, probably, but Thompson has had a big day. No question about it.
That umpire steps up there and throws it on the ground. You know somebody's wiggling around in there and is coming back 5. So instead of being a layup, it's close to 6 yards now.
Richard, 3 of 5 and 28. And it's not been a good day for him, but there'll be others. Joe won't decide on this game. I'm sure next week he'll play them both just as he did
Kevin
today.
Thompson's in there right now. He gives it to Cordell Mitchell, and he's short. He gets that 5 yards back. But it's short by half a yard. And Ryan Fagan, number 60, who was shaken up a moment ago, he's back in there at that left guard spot.
36 is Caramelli in the backfield for the Penn State Lions. There's a nice block. Gets his man on the ground. That's Chandler Smith. Kevin Thompson is 8 of 12, 124 yards and a touchdown.
It's Mike Caramelli, 2nd touchdown of the day.
Wedderburn and McKenzie, and left side of that offensive line. It's been a surprisingly easy afternoon for Joe Paterno and his Lions. I think they would agree with that.
Kick is good by Travis Forney. And it's now 34-0 at 4:52 to play in the third quarter. Here's our New York studio now with John Saunders and Todd Blackman. And there he ran into a tree trunk and stopped. Behind the scenes of live television, but also behind the scenes of life, from the writer of A Few Good Men, comes Sports Night, Tuesday, September 22nd on ABC. I'm not sure how Sports Night is a slice of life.
Oh, we gotta tune in and see.
Turn it on and watch.
That's right. I'm going to do that. I'm going to tune it in and see, and we'll know. I'll let you know.
My bus might be out in the valley, and I won't. Well, they try to run. And I just don't think the Golden Eagles are going to get much real estate on the ground today. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
Well, they didn't run the ball very well last year. They were like 78th, 80th in the nation rushing the football. They return 8 starters on offense, so they've got a lot of guys. Their offensive line, 4 of the 5 guys return. Roberts, the quarterback. Their 3 top wide receivers are back. They just haven't been able to get anything going here this afternoon. They've gotten down in field goal range and 3 times misfired for various reasons with their field goals.
That pass complete to Sherrod Gideon. He's indefatigable, but he does not get a whole lot out of that, maybe 4 yards. And so it is 3rd down and about 6.
Penn State defensively is just sitting back, and Gideon's numbers are going to be impressive, Keith, and Roberts, the quarterback, is going to have a high completion percentage, but they still don't have any points on the board. It's just like a bend but don't break defense. Throw it in front of you, I'll come up and make the tackle.
And by the end of the day, you'll feel like a sack of pine knots and be so sore you can hardly wobble. There's a penalty flag to stop it. Gideon now with 11 catches. That's a Southern Mississippi record for 120 yards. When I first took a look at this matchup, that's illegal motion or procedure against the Eagles. You know it's a matchup of basic philosophy because they come from far different places in the spectrum of college football and different parts of the country. You had the essential improvisation on the part of Southern Mississippi. You had the simple execution and manpower of Penn State. And almost inevitably, the simple, if you've got the edge in men, it's like Amos Alonzo Stagg said once, big, fast people beat little, fast people. And that's basically what you have.
Simple recipe, isn't it?
Yep. Really simple. Ball is thrown into the ground, incomplete. Running for his life.
And you're right, the offensive scheme for Southern Mississippi is a 3 wide receiver, 1 back. That's kind of unique in college football. Defensively, their scheme is really unorthodox. It's something you don't see around very often. Penn State, on the other hand, very basic offense, very basic defense.
6th punt of the day for Jamie Purser. 4 of the 5 previous punts. 3 of the 5, I should say, have been over 40 yards. The other 2 were 36. That's a little better. Runs Branch all the way back to this 32. Got a block. 1 more. Needed 1 more. He might have done something exciting, but pretty good return of 11 yards after a 53-yard punt from Purser.
Here's a look at the all-time coaching wins. Keith, Eddie Robinson, who just retired last year and was inducted into the College Hall of Fame. Joe's down there at 298. I think it's safe to say he's going to have 299. And next week he goes for 300 against Bowling Green. He's not far off from Stagg. They got 299 already in the bag right there.
Richard Casey is now back in at quarterback for Penn State. I think they could probably let him play the rest of the day, but they also need the season Thompson too, so we may see him tonight. Another 2-step drop. Ross puts a lot of air under it, and Crenshaw turned inside, the ball thrown outside. So it'll be 2nd down and 10.
He had a guy in his face that time. A defensive end may have gotten a piece of that one.
You know, I talked to Joe when he came out at halftime, guys, and I asked him, obviously he felt good about his team, why he decided to leave Kevin in there. And he said, well, you know, Casey was a little nervous in there. Said he was getting some formations kind of mixed up, so I pulled him out because we had good field position. I didn't want to blow at the end of the ball game, but he still wants him in there. He wants him to play and get the experience, and both quarterbacks need that, Bob. I mean, they just need that playing time.
Well, they've both been around the program. This is Casey's 3rd year in Happy Valley, and Thompson has been here 4 years. So heck, I mean, they know the system. They know, you know, how everything is run. They know what they expected. They know you don't want to make silly mistakes, throw the ball, pay attention at practice. They know all the routine. The only thing they haven't done is gotten on the field and taken some snaps and had some success and had some failure. And that's what Joe wants him to do. Get out there. It's not like it's a true freshman that he's trying to break in that doesn't know where the library is.
That run by Easy leaves them on 3rd and 1, so they give it back to big number 30, Marcus McPhee, a 253-pound sophomore, and McPhee rumbles for the first down.
Bob, you said something yesterday. I want to make sure everybody out there who's watching that game understands that you had to expect that people are going to make mistakes. That's the only way you really learn. And no one should come out here and watch these 2 young quarterbacks, watch them try and learn without making mistakes. It was inevitable that had to happen.
Well, my comment was they're entitled to some mistakes. I mean, nobody that's ever thrown a football has been perfect. And that goes for every position. Everybody's missed the tackle and everything else. But these guys are entitled to come out and make some mistakes, go back and watch the film and learn from those mistakes.
T.J. Slaughter got the tackle on Eric McCoo there for a loss.
This kid was a good high school football player. Both of these guys were. Casey and Thompson, they were both good players. It's just a matter of they haven't done it yet at this level.
Kevin's got to learn, though, to get on the ground when 2 big people, Thomas and Nix, have a hold of him.
Ah, you got that right. I cringe when he tries to stay up when the 300-pounders hold on to him.
2nd down, 13, past him. Looking, and there's nothing there, so Casey, you know, he's going to take off with it. He's pretty quick to pull it down. And I don't think anybody's surprised that he's doing it, because that's what he did all during his high school days. And he run. Guarantee you. At the conclusion of the game, we'll select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team. Chevrolet making the contributions to each school's general scholarship fund. Ball is at the 39-yard line now. And it is 3rd down and 7. Richard gives to McCoo. McCoo hands it off to Branch. Branch comes on a reverse, and there's 4 Golden Eagles waiting to pounce on him, and they put him down. Give you another idea of the difference between the circumstances here as we come to the end of the 3rd quarter, and I shall tell you the story at a later time. ABC Sports presentation of college football continues after a message. Penn State is leading Southern Mississippi and has absolutely taken control of the ball game, and I would imagine most everybody over on the blue-white sideline is going to get a chance to play before the day's over, and probably some guys that even Joe doesn't know.
Now, I was impressed with him at lunch yesterday. He knows pretty much all these guys.
Yes, he does. He does. Pat Pigeon is in to punt, 4th one of the day. Big one was 62 yards. He's just going to try to pooch it up in the air and kill it deep. That's a tail dragger. Now, if it hits the ground, it'll go in the end zone. There it is. So it'll come out to the 20-yard line, and it'll be 1st down for Southern Mississippi.
Well, we've been talking about quarterbacks for Penn State, the new guys. Here are some of the new starting quarterbacks around the country. Tom Brady takes over at Michigan. Bobby Newcomb started last week and got hurt, but he didn't start today, but he'll be back there. Chris Winkie for Florida State. Joe Germain takes over. Jesse Palmer is going to take care of the Florida Gators.
Jesse had a mighty challenge today from the Citadel.
T. Martin had a pretty good day. He was 9 of 26, 142 yards passing, and a couple touchdowns.
Lee Roberts goes big for Sherrod Gideon, and they connect. First down, Southern Mississippi at the Penn State 39-yard line.
This is reminding me a little bit of Troy Edwards from Louisiana Tech last week against Nebraska, when Nebraska beat him kind of easily, but the receiver Edwards just kind of tore him up, and Gideon's having a great day. Tries to make a move right here. It's caught from behind.
12 catches for 161 yards. So he's tearing up the school record book for wide receivers. Handed off to Dwayne Woods, the redshirt freshman, and he takes a battering at the line of scrimmage.
Florida hadn't scored yet, huh? Look at that. That looked like an interception that was run back.
Yep.
For Notre Dame.
Get over there fooling around South Bend, they'll beat you. That game is late tonight, and a big, big ball game in the Pac-10 at Washington, Arizona State game. That's another big one in that part of the country.
That part of the country, you're right.
Again, a connection between Lee Roberts and Sherrod Gideon, so he just keeps rolling up the catches and rolling up the. Oregon just pounded Michigan State. There's still 14 minutes to play. Wow.
These two guys are playing pitch and catch pretty well. They've done this before, and I guess they're going to have a pretty good year this year, these two guys. 13 catches, 176 yards.
And he's the all-time leading receiver. He's set game records today on both catches and yardage. And here's the ball lofted to the sidelines, and get him the catch. Todd Pinkston gets in on the road show here and makes a fine catch on the sidelines to put Southern Mississippi now down in potential scoring area. 7-yard line.
The third time that David Macklin's been beaten on this fade route, and every time he's had good coverage.
If the ball's thrown perfectly, there's not much you can do there. First and goal for Southern Miss. Roberts throws, pass is caught by Eddie Shaw. Shaw to the goal line and not in. No, it's not much more than a foot.
This will probably be the only time you'll ever see the Golden Eagles in a two tight end situation. Right here.
Right.
On the 1 foot line, trying to get in the end zone.
Woods is the deep back, single back. He gets it. He did not get in.
He got the ball. I'm not sure he got the touchdown.
No, he didn't. You know who's there for Penn State? That big old 52.
That's Daniels, 52.
Daniels, yeah.
Bob, Keith, we all know defenses, no matter what time of the ball game it is, they love to preserve a shutout. Penn State does not want to give it up here.
Third and goal, a foot away. Throwing. Incomplete. Penalty flag. Took a while for the linesman to get it out of his pocket. Gideon against Macklin.
A little surprised by the call, but I guess they're used to this.
Pass interference on the defense. Half the distance
against
from the
Penn
previous
State.
spot.
Now you'll have
First down.
four chances from the 1 foot line, bottom of your screen.
He got a hold of it.
Yeah, he did. Yep, that was a good call. In college football, you're allowed to jam the receiver as long as the ball is not in the air and the receiver is still in front of you. But once he gets past you, you can't hold on to him.
And the linesman was standing 6 feet from him looking at it. So it was pretty easy, I guess, for him to call. Go back to Woods. Touchdown. Jeff not too wild about the circumstance because he's probably sitting over on the sidelines thinking, sure did take us a long time to get in the end zone.
Well, I still think, I don't think the outcome would have been any different, but I think the special teams are what really failed Southern Miss here today. They missed 3 field goals that would have kept them in the game in the first half. And then coming out the second half, they had the muff punt. And you just can't win football games on the road when you have poor special teams. There is a lineman.
Penalty flag. Kick was good, but let's see about the penalty. Number 19, Anthony King, came across and went flying by.
Illegal formation on the kicking team.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yep. Kick was no good. They'll wave it off.
Penn State 34, Southern Miss 6.
Jeff Bauer wants to know what was wrong with the formation.
That's your point. I still don't know what the misformation was. You have 2 up backs over here. Normally one of them is on this side. They had an unbalanced line right here. There's 4 guys over here. The center's 5, 6, 7. There's 7 guys on the line and 4 guys in the back. I still don't know what the problem was. It may have fooled one of the officials.
Like you said, it's their first game of the season too, isn't it?
It's first game out for the officials also. Maybe, but we may be missing something too.
Yeah,
also.
that's right. But for me, that's not unusual. This is Sam Crenshaw up across the 25 to the 26. 20.
And just reinforcing what Bob said about special teams.
Yep.
Kevin Thompson is your quarterback, and Omar Easy is the running back.
Second down.
Clock rolling along at 11:15 to play. The Nittany Lions starting the season with Southern Mississippi, Bowling Green, and Pitt. And then Ohio State and Columbus. Omar Easy. And he's across the 40 and has a first down at the 41. Here's John Saunders. Had a pretty good career at place kicker,
Yes,
didn't he?
he has. He's a good kicker.
Young fella from Texas. Don sounds chipper. He's only put in a 19-hour day. First down from the 41. Oh, swing it out to Mustasi. First man missed him. Second man missed him. Third man got him out of bounds. But it's a first down at the Southern Mississippi side of the field on the 44.
All right, in the slot there, Joe Juravicius was their go-to guy last year. Juravicius is the leading receiver coming back this year, but they've got some guys. They got some talent. Corey Jones can play. Shafi Fields is another guy. It's an outstanding receiver.
Nastasi 4 for 73 and a touchdown today from the 44. Kevin Thompson hands it off, and you got a penalty flag.
Think of some of these Penn State receivers with the talent and skill that they have. We're in a system such as Florida or Florida State. They'd be catching a heck of a lot of balls, but in this system, you're going to get balance, and you're just going to have to wait your turn, and you're not going to catch too many.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense. 15 yards from the previous spot as the run ended behind the line of scrimmage.
15 yards. ESPN brings you the NFL on Sunday night. The Oakland Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. Mike Patrick, Paul McGuire, Joe Theismann in the booth for that one. Then on Monday night, ABC. Al Michaels, Dan Dierdorf, and Boomer Esiason will bring you Denver at home with the New England Patriots.
Is the Heisman Trophy winner starting for the Raiders out there? I think he is. Charles Woodson?
I've not been in that part of the country much lately. He had a sore knee, I know. He twisted his knee, and he was laid up for a couple of days, but he's had a very good preseason.
I know Southern Miss lost a good cornerback in Patrick Surtain. He went with the Dolphins, and Jimmy Johnson is very high on that young man. Took him in the second round.
Looked like the young fella, the passer up at Kentucky, had a pretty good start today, huh? Scored a lot of points on him. That's the one that startles me right there, is Oregon beating the Michigan State Spartans like that. Ball's loose, picked up by Southern Mississippi. Fumbled at the 27, 28, and recovered by Darion Brutley for the Eagles. Omar Easy was out there running in traffic, and another small lesson for Omar.
There's a lesson right there. You're exactly right.
First Penn State turnover of the day.
You know, everybody's going to make mistakes, but Joe doesn't like it when you make them. But just, you know, take it in the right way, go back and work harder, and don't let it happen again.
So now the Eagles, for the sake of dignity, if nothing else, would like to put something else up on the board. Lee Roberts down behind the line of scrimmage. Maurice Daniels again. They got about 8 guys in that defensive front that can drive you crazy. Maybe 9.
Gary Sandusky is he's in about his 30th or 31st season with Joe Paterno here at Penn State. That's the thing about this staff. They just stay.
140 years combined on the staff. Yep. This is only the second year that Jeff Bauer has had his staff together. That's an enormous difference.
And he made reference to that yesterday in speaking about his offensive system. The coaches were together. That was a big key for him. He brought in Larry Keck, the offensive coordinator. Keck's been here for 18 months. He brought this one-back scheme with him. Larry's there on the right. Brought the one-back scheme with him from Marshall. He was up there with that passing machine and brought it down here. And Jeff Bauer said it's nice to have everybody together year after year.
Roberts gets it off. It's caught. It's Francis making the catch. And it's 4th down. So they'll kick it away. I've got a story about Southern Mississippi and their travels that I want to tell you, but it's going to take me a minute to tell it. It's pretty funny stuff.
Just be nice now, Hoss.
8 minutes. 8 minutes to play in the ball game. A little less now. This is the 7th punt of the day by Jamie Purcell. Look at this one. That's maybe the best hang time he's had all day. And Branch disdaining folks, refuses the fair catch, thank you, and brings it back to the 21-yard line. That's a 50-yard punt with a 6-yard return. And we've got 7:38 to play. What's doing out there in the middle? That must be one somebody took out of an Alabama trailer. 21-yard line, 1st down for Penn State, and Rashard Casey is in at the quarterback spot. Eric McCoo is the running back, and Mr. McCoo has the ball and runs for almost 10 yards. Hit him 9. 2nd and 1.
Well, there was a competition coming in for the quarterback position at Penn State. We talked a lot about this is how they've done today. Kevin Thompson has done much better in this game. Richard not faring so well, but knowing Joe Paterno, I am sure that Richard is going to give another chance next week against Bowling Green.
This is easy. And he was probably told during his time on the bench as he picks up the first down, son, when the ball is given to you, it becomes part of your body.
In other words, don't fumble.
Amen. Easy's averaging 5 yards a carry. He's at 12 carries, 60 yards and a touchdown. Got it again. But he isn't going to get much this time. He will lose. He's down at the 40. Tuesdays this fall, George Jefferson, Archie Bunker. Who is he? He's D.L. Hughley, moving from the burbs, moving to the burbs from the hood in the Hughleys, Tuesday starting September 22nd on ABC. Translated, that means moving from the neighborhood to the suburb. I think. Can never be sure these days. Richard getting a little heat from the backside. And number 39 comes in to get a piece of him and take him down for Southern Mississippi. That would be a fellow that's not on the roster.
Keith, here's a look at the Penn State schedule for the rest of the year. Next week, Joe has a chance at 300. But the interesting thing here is to note that the Big Ten games, at the key ones, they're at Ohio State, they are at Michigan, and they are at Wisconsin. The three strongest teams, they don't play Iowa, but the three strongest Big Ten rivalries they're going to have this year are on the road.
Bad news.
Of course, last year they had them all here. And
Easy gets it up to about the 35-yard line. And the Lions will bring up fourth down, and they will punt it away at 5 minutes to play in the ball game. And Southern Mississippi will get it one more time with Shaw going back as the deep man for the Eagles.
I want to hear this story now.
Well, I haven't had a chance.
I'm waiting here with.
There's something to do.
Sitting on the
every 4
edge
seconds.
of my seat here.
There's enough traffic going through this booth to kill a flock of geese. Spins it off the side of his foot, but it's a tail dragger, and it's going to roll on down the field. And he winds up pretty good kick. Right at about the 20-yard line, trickles out of bounds. 45 yards on the punt with 4:22 to play in the ball game. And Reggie Collier both. Brett Favre, of course, the all-time offense leader, but Jeff was a pretty good one himself over there at Southern Miss. Well, the Eagles are going home right after the ball game. They've got a charter from TWA that flew them into Harrisburg, which is a little more than 2-hour drive on a highway that's getting a lot of touching up before the winter months come. So it took over 2 hours to drive over here to State College from Harrisburg. And off his inside, Jeff Kelly is now in at the quarterback position. He is a redshirt freshman from Centinel, Alabama. Well, they took off from Hattiesburg on a 6,000-foot runway, landed in Harrisburg, which is probably about 6,000, a little longer maybe. Well, one of the elements of conversation when Penn State joined the Big Ten Conference some 8 years ago, when they were talking about it before they actually came in, had to do with the airport. They had to make the airport runways long enough to bring airplanes like a 727 in here. Well, they spent $20 million, and they have done that. They stay on the ground, and now they're, I think, interested in getting back on an airplane. This week, 7,000-foot runway is available. The charter guys that brought Southern Mississippi up here said, nope, we're not going to be the first people to land on that runway. Unless they change their mind between yesterday and today, Southern Miss is going to have to get on that 2 buses and go all the way back over the mountain to Harrisburg and then fly home.
When you told Jeff that story yesterday, he's going to say, I'm going to see what I can do about getting us to take off from here and not making that long drive back to Harrisburg.
Well, it's a TWA charter, and it was a 727, and I don't know if he had any success or not, because I haven't seen a 727 come in here to land. This is Kelby Nance, and he gets it up.
Well, Keith, just to tag the story for you, I talked to Jeff before the game began, asked him about the airplane, if they were able to work it out. He said, get this, here's the latest. What they told him after telling him first they wanted to bring an empty plane in to test the runway. That was the first reason why they didn't want to land on it. They said, we can't land on it because it's only 100 feet wide. Now, if you look at the football field from the goal line to the 33, it's about 100 feet. That looks as wide as any runway you need to land on, Keith.
Yeah. So you're saying that they've got a 7,000-foot runway, but now it's not wide enough.
Yeah, I don't think anybody spends $20 million at an airport and makes it too narrow.
I doubt that very much. Not in a thrifty state like Pennsylvania. On the 30-yard line, it is 4th and 1 for Southern Mississippi, and at this point of the game, with a score of 34-6, there's a penalty flag as they try for it, and either there was motion by the Eagles or there was intrusion by the Lions, and all of that.
Dead ball. False start.
False start.
On the offense. 5 yards. 4th down.
So that's a dead ball foul, and it's imposed without discussion at Penn State. Lee Roberts today has completed 27 passes. That's Southern Mississippi record for completions in a game. He shared the old record with Brett Favre. So Roberts is 27 out of 38 for 289 yards. And of course, Gideon had a big day himself. This is Drummond. Edwin Drummond trying to find some room to bring it back, and has a little trouble. Sherrod Gideon, 13 catches, 176 yards, and his average a prodigious 13.5. Southern Miss record on the 13 receptions.
Yeah, but I'm sure both would tell you those are hollow records at this point, because they only scored 6 points. They got beat 34-6 at this point, and I mean, big numbers in a losing cause are really misleading. They're both fine players. They both have career numbers that have gone on to other ball games, and they're both excellent players. But they'll both tell you that breaking records in a loss like this is not very satisfying.
Chad Trell is in for a couple of snaps now for Penn State. And Southern Miss comes plowing through there as now everybody's trying to get everybody into the game if they can. Bruce Branch is on the field. That was Russ Monty. And there are going to be some people out here, like I said, probably Joe wouldn't know, but it's important that everybody get a piece of it. Get in a ball game so that you have it as part of your memory. Stay on the ground. I don't think you'll see the ball in the air. Steve Smith carried that one. And we're coming up on a minute to play. The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Sherrod Gideon. We showed you his numbers a moment ago from Southern Mississippi. And we're going to give one to one of my favorite folks, a big ugly, a guy who knocks the wall down for those flashy running backs to run and those dancing quarterbacks to throw. Floyd Wedderburn, offensive tackle from Penn State. A Chevrolet donation to be made to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to help those in financial need. A Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century.
Number 46 was making the ball carrier. Stopped by number 12, Aaron Brooklyn.
Russ Maney carrying again on that play. And we're just running out the clock, frankly. And we're going to have some time for some scores and information from John Saunders and Todd Blacklock. So Southern Miss came north to play Penn State. One of the traditions in college football, been a great program for a long, long time. They knew and could be a long trip, and it has been kind of a long afternoon, but it has been one they can build on, both sides, both Penn State and Southern Mississippi. Final score, Penn State 34, Southern Mississippi 6.